What's up, everybody? Listen, before we get the podcast started, we just want to say thank you to everyone that's been supporting us. Thank you to everyone who has been purchasing the shirts.
Buy more, suckers.
Buy more. I actually have the official Jiu-Jitsu Radio t-shirt going up in the store soon, so keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, go to jiu-jitsuradio.com for all the latest news, updates. I'm working on updating that more regularly, so please go ahead and sign up for the newsletter, jiu-jitsuradio.com. Don't forget, you can follow us individually and the podcast. You can follow the podcast Instagram at Jiu-Jitsu Radio. You can follow Shawn at Gorilla Boy BJJ, and you can follow me at Sonder Marketing. And if you've been following me the last few weeks, you see that you gotten a lot of behind the scenes sneak peeks. That's very hard to say.
Behind the scenes speaks.
Behind the scenes sneak peeks. Anyway, so make sure you follow Sonder Marketing on Instagram. Follow Shawn. Follow the podcast. And most of all, don't forget to support the podcast by supporting our sponsors. Check out chokealoha.com. You see this shirt?
I see it.
It's a sexy shirt.
I thought it was stained, but then I remembered it's the universe.
You thought it was stained? No, those are actually sandwich crumbs. Sorry.
So that was sandwich crumbs.
Those were sandwich
No, but there
crumbs.
are stars in the shirt.
There are stars. Those are not stains.
Right.
But if you missed out on this shirt, that sucks to be you. But there's a lot of cool new gear coming out on Chokealoha, especially the new little Paradise shirt and rash guard set that they got going on. You can get yours at discount when you use the promo code Jiu-Jitsu Radio at the checkout. You'll get 20% off regardless of if it's brand new or if it's on sale. You will still get 20% off your entire purchase. That's a better discount than you get when they give out sales.
By the way,
What's up?
this isn't just because they're sponsors
Awesome.
of the show. And this isn't just because, I discovered the brand.
No.
No,
But
I did.
continue.
I did.
No, definitely not.
But they're literally make my favorite rash guards. I love everything about them.
But you don't even have the new rash guard.
I do have the new rash guard. I don't have the
newest.
I don't have the one with the leaves on it.
The new.
Yeah, I don't have that. But I have two of the older rash guards, and they're my favorite rash guards. They're
But you want to know
comfortable.
something? You want to know something about that new rash guard?
What about it?
You can get it for 20% off when you use the promo code Jiu-Jitsu Radio. You thought you were going to get a free rash guard. Go fuck
No,
yourself.
I did not. I figured you were going to tell me that it's your favorite brand, too.
It actually is. And it can be yours. And you can get it at a discount. When you go to chokealoha.com, use the promo code Jiu-Jitsu Radio. And listen, there's a lot of shit going on right now. People are freaking the fuck out about this whole corona thing. Soap and water will do you good. And you can get your soap at jujitsusoapco.com with a special discount. I mean, you get to literally save your own life, smell sexy, and you get it at a discount. When you use the promo code JJRadio at checkout, you'll get 10% off. I actually need to put an order tonight because I'm running out of the bars, and they're actually really fucking good. I need to get you a bar, huh? You got to get like a whole slew of these bars because
I'm waiting for my signature bar to come out.
Yeah, we actually got to work on that. That I've been meaning to talk to you about. We are working on putting together a signature bar. So first come, first serve, but we'll let you know when that comes out. In the meantime, you can go get your own Jiu-Jitsu soap at jujitsusoapco.com. Promo code JJRadio at checkout. You will get 10% off. And finally, last but not least, don't forget to check out our homies over at giraffechoke.com. You will get 25% off any order of $99 or more and free shipping when you use the promo code JJRadio at checkout. I always get compliments on the hats. The hats are actually one of my favorite pieces of swag at giraffechoke.com. Get yours. Use the promo code JJRadio at checkout, and you can be cool like me. You can either get one of these Chokealoha shirts at chokealoha.com. You can go to Giraffe Choke, pick up a hat, pick up your own T-shirt. Do whatever you want. Just let them know we sent you, and they'll hook you up. Now, we got a lot of stuff to cover because today is the day. Today is episode 100.
100?
So we're going to keep it 100 on this one. Here we go. Let's get this party started.
You kidding me, Bob?
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff.
Get stealing, woo, wheeling, dealing, limousine right, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
here we go to 100 cheers. Cheers.
Cheers
to all of you. Thank you for everyone that's been sticking with us with 100 shows.
Keeping it real 100% of the time.
Man, that tastes so good. I just finished training. Second training session in 6 weeks. Because I've been sick with your whole shit talking about calling my baby bird immune system. Man, I was so bad. So I got to train once a week and a half out from Miami Open, and I haven't trained since. I fucked up my back in Miami Open. Then I had a marketing conference I had to go to, and I was still sick. I lost my voice completely, and I had to present. I had to do a speech. So I had 10 days of antibiotics during the Miami Open. Excuse me. And got off of it. Got sick twice as bad. I had to get on like extra super strong overdose of antibiotics. And actually the first day I took them, it hit me like 10 times as hard. I was so fucking done. So I was down for the count for an entire day. I couldn't like do anything. My nose, you might as well just have like a faucet on. I was just dying. Yeah, it was gross. And then so the antibiotics finally kicked in. I only got like 2 days left, man, but I was dying. It was the worst sinus infection I've had in a while. So I didn't get the corona, but I've had a really bad sinus infection.
You're actually like when they've talked about it, you're one of the people I go, ugh.
Yeah.
Hope you don't get it.
No, for sure.
Because,
like my immune system is shit right now.
Yeah, and then the people who are most at risk are people that have
respiratory issues
and immune.
Like my immune system has gotten a lot better the last couple of years, but I'm just super careful. The thing that I get more than anything is those sinus infections. I never get like colds or flus that often. Like I definitely get like a cold once a year. I used to get them like a lot, like probably a good 7 or 8 times a year. So I've definitely done a lot to boost it up, but the sinus infection is still my weak point. Ever since I had the surgery for the deviated septum, it's been just a shit show, man. It's just a shit show. And finally, now that I have health insurance, I have to go and try and see if I can get them to pay for it and get it fixed up again. But that guy fucked me up, man. Like, it's gotten to the point I'm an expert on sinus infections. Not only, like, do I can sit there and have a legitimate medical conversation with a physician about what's going on, the symptoms, the medications, and all that stuff, but I can tell you the instant that I have it. I can already feel it. I'll feel just like this weird tinge right in this exact spot. I'm like, oh, I have it. And I've literally, the last couple of times I had it, it's like, oh, it's there. And I'll do everything I can to fight it off. But it's been a rough 6 weeks. So now I'm starting to feel better.
Well, not today. This week has been the first week I've been back training. Took 3 weeks off.
Or no, you're back your leg, right? Yeah.
Been stretching it, been getting it stretched by Ian. It's been terrible, but I've been able to swim, luckily.
Yeah.
Not the first week, but the second week I was finally able to swim again.
You know what? It's funny. I got to give you this exercise that I just started doing again that I used to do all the time, and it'll hit that like muscle perfect.
With the hammy?
Yeah, and it's not like just doing like.
It's got to be the outside because it's not the inside.
No, I'm telling you, I'll give you the exercise. I'll show you after, but it was actually Flex's brother Luke, who is now one of the coaches for the Penn State rugby team. He's the one that gave me this exercise, and it's huge for the hips, the hamstrings, and balance and everything. So I'll show you afterwards for sure.
Yeah. I need it. That was so I finally posted the bit of the match where I showed where I got
fucked up,
jacked up. People kept asking me. I'm like, well, this is what happened. And,
excuse me.
You know, it was. You wouldn't think, you know, being down one leg. You know, and there was guys with one leg,
literally
actually
one leg competing. Yeah.
But it was the pain.
Yeah.
You know, and dealing with that pain for the last 3 weeks has been fun, but I've been figuring it out, going slow.
Yeah.
But I was able to come back this week feeling good because I've been resting my body, swimming. But it's funny is I'd made that a post today. Go see it at Gorilla Boy BJJ, and where I post the picture of the video, or post the video where I got hurt, and it doesn't seem like it was that much of a thing. Like if you don't know that it happened, you'd be like, why is he crying?
If someone doesn't know you and how you roll, like you wouldn't even think something happened.
And it was true. It's like in jiu-jitsu. So I lost. I got my ass kicked. But I really don't consider it. I considered it a learning experience, because what did I learn? I learned I got to get healthier hamstrings. My hamstrings, we've talked about it. My hamstrings are the worst. My legs don't go straight. They're always
but
bent.
a lot of people are like that.
Yeah,
a lot of people are like that. And I mean, I can't.
I'm the most flexible person.
Yeah.
Like with my hips in and bringing my feet up.
Yeah.
But as far as straightening my leg, I just can't do it. So that has been my goal, and that's what I'm going to continue to do, is continue to stretch my hamstrings.
It's funny because it's like with what we do, like we could sit there and literally pick up someone 300 pounds with our legs, move them around. Like that's what we do. But if you put me in like an acro yoga where you got to keep your legs straight and keep somebody up there, I can't do that to save my life. Maybe I could hold it 2-3 seconds. After that, it's just it's out the window.
It's funny is Ian would straighten my leg.
Yeah, and it's insane pain.
Like just straightening my leg. It's like
I've always had that issue. I've never been able to, like I can touch my toes, but it's like
there's a slight bend in your knee.
You gotta or I have to really kind of do it 2-3 times to warm up and really focus on my back so I can straighten out the legs. But I'll show you the exercise, and I'll tell you, I didn't send you that Bill Superfoot Wallace exercise. No, I got to send you that because that one's a big one too. If I stay consistent on it, it always helps me out.
But the coolest thing about being down was we haven't gotten to talk about it. Not this past Friday, but the Friday before last, my grandmother calls me. And she goes, "You got a package here."
Uh-oh.
And I go, "I didn't order anything." She goes, "It's pretty heavy." And I go, "Well, where's it from?" And she goes, she goes, SHOYOROLL. And I'm like, and I immediately start going, did I order a gi?
Yeah.
And why did it go to my grandmother's house?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm like, no. And I go to my grandmother's house, and there's the box. I open up the box, and there's 2 gis in there.
Oh, you got 2?
I got 2 gis.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, what's going on here? And I was like, I'm pulling up my account, and I'm like, because I looked at they sent like a invoice.
Right.
I looked on the account. I looked at the date, April or February or 20-something. And I'm looking. I'm like, no, I didn't order anything. I log on to my Show Your Roll account.
Yeah.
No,
just
I didn't
making
buy
sure
anything.
you didn't.
Yeah, like I was like, because sometimes you know what you'll do is you'll shop something and you'll put it in your cart and then you'll
just
be
walk
like,
off.
No, I better not do that.
Yeah.
And so I called him on my way to the gym, on my way to teach, and I was like, guys, I got 2 gis, but I don't order anything. Is there something, you know? And they put me on the phone, and I can't remember his name. Can't remember his name, but he's like, yeah, dude, we saw that you went through the paperwork to become sponsored a couple months ago. I go, wait a second. That was like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He goes, are you serious? I go, yeah, dude. I go, that's been years.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, we saw, how much how long you've been a customer and how loyal you've been with us. So I wanted to gift those to you and hopefully start the relationship up about, coming on to Show Your Roll. Nice. And I was like, awesome, dude. I mean, I truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I was down while that came, so I didn't really do anything. So I posted a pic today of one of the gis they sent me, and I'll probably post the other pic on Friday.
So which gis did they send you?
They sent me that black competitor with a black and
the black and red,
the red and white colorway, and then sent me the Magic kimono, the white one with the white and gray.
Oh, the original Magic?
I don't know if it's original.
Well, there was two. I think there was two. I think there was
it didn't
two
come
releases.
in because this one was a little bit different from. So I think it was the second one.
Yeah,
But dude, I was like, this is rad, and
that's awesome.
Talk about customer retention.
Yeah.
That's how you retain customers.
Well, I mean, gosh, how much money did we spend on Show Your Roll?
Well, you can. The cool thing about Show Your Roll, you can literally look and see how much money you spent over the years.
I looked at that number once or twice, and I'm like, I can't go back and look.
Well, just so you know, mine's more than $4,000.
Oh yeah, no, mine too, for sure.
Maybe more than $5,000.
I am definitely.
But since 2012, I think.
Yeah. I am definitely in the 10K range, because I remember I bought a bunch of gis, and then I got lucky on the vault as well, so I got like 2 or 3 gis when I got into the vault. So, and that's not including the ones I bought on eBay, the ones that I got secondhand too. So I definitely spent a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 gis though, 2 gis that are still my
Favorite?
My unicorns. I got 2 unicorn gis out there.
The Rio.
The Rio Koi. For those of you that don't know, was a white gi, green and yellow with a koi.
It was the artwork by John Smalls.
Yeah, but there was a koi. Like, was it
a koi fish.
Was it part of a rash guard in there, or was it just?
It's like a very small partial shoulder rash guard lining.
Right.
It wasn't an entire lining. The only time that they did like an entire lining was the T-bone gi. That was like all plaid on the inside.
Yeah. And then my other one is the Seventh Son.
I thought
the
it was
the
I
original.
thought it was that Rasta one that
I already
Foster
have
gave
that.
you. Yeah.
Why would I don't need. I got that one.
Oh, okay. So you were saying the unicorns that you still want.
I still need.
I actually sold both of my Rio Kois.
So
I
I
had
need the
2 of
Rio
them.
Koi, and I need the original Seventh Son, not the one with the snakes.
Yeah, the original like orange
Black
one.
and orange one, man.
Yeah.
That thing was like, I don't know what it is about black. I love black
cool
and
colorway.
orange together.
Yeah, no, it's a cool colorway. That's a nice key. That one and the Lord of the Rings one was probably the most counterfeit one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised they never tried to re-release that one. It was always the Rio and the White Mamba for me, but getting the White Mamba was impossible. So I mean, I like the competitor reissue, like the Black Mambas one. So I bought both of those. Fuck, man. I got both of those. I have the Jazari gi. I wanted to get the second Jazari gi, but it's just I never got it. I had a bunch of the competitors. I had the Joker gi. I didn't like the Batman one because I knew how much it like leaked, like it just bled.
Mine never bled.
Yours didn't, but a lot of people did. No, yours did, because I remember you had the issue with the rope, the belt loops bled like very little.
No.
Some people had more issues than others, though.
Yeah, I didn't have any. Not with that one.
The Optimus Prime was nice. The Superman one was always nice. I remember the photo of that one was Foster. Yeah, they got a ton of really, really nice gis.
The one of my more recent ones was the Albino Prado, the blue one.
Yeah, I have that one
with
too.
the red. It's
Got
got
to get the red one.
Yeah, it's blue with a red like patch on the shoulder. It's beautiful.
Speaking of gis, so one thing that we haven't talked about. So actually, I have the metal in the car. So a week ago, is it a week ago? No, 2 weeks ago. In the midst of this whole sinus infection, I actually did my first 10K, and I ran on the space shuttle runway.
How was that?
Surprisingly, very little to no security. There was no security. Literally at no point, like going through the metal detectors, they just made us like raise our hands, and we just walked right in.
What are you gonna do? You're dressed to run. It's not like you're gonna be carrying.
I mean, it was. So here's the thing. I did the 10K in my gi. I have photos and stuff. I put on my want versus need gi, belt, everything. Just went out there, had my running shoes, and I did 10K. But what sucked is
why?
Because I felt like it, and it was also cold.
Okay.
It worked out. So it was actually in the 40s and 50s. But I was like, I want to do it in my gi. I mean, I've sat there and cut weight and ran with it so many times. So it was cold. So it actually worked out perfect. I was extremely comfortable. The only thing that sucked is I was in the middle of having the sinus infection, and I wasn't even on my second batch of antibiotics. So I would run, and then literally my lungs would cramp, and I'd have to like slow down and walk. Run, walk, run, walk. I still managed to do 12-minute miles, considering.
I don't know how long 10K is. How many miles?
6 miles. So I'm thinking it's an easy runway. 3-mile runway. A 3-mile runway? Bro, it's fucking...
What is it? Is it a straightway?
Oh, it's a straight line. It's the
3
runway.
miles.
It's the landing strip.
They need 3 miles of
Yes.
landing strip?
They need 3 miles of landing strip. Now, here's the thing. It's not regular street concrete. It's not even like the concrete here at the airport. It's extremely dense. It's made specifically to carry the weight of the fucking space shuttle when it lands in, or like jumbo jets and stuff like that if they have to come in. Man, that landing strip was so fucking long. It felt like forever. It's like at the end there was like a little hut, and like that hut is not getting any bigger. And what they did is they had a 5K and a 10K. So halfway people would split. So I'm like, oh, I see people turning around already. And I'm like, oh, shit, I got to keep going. Dude, it was so fucking long. So we got there at...
Who'd you do it with?
Some friends of mine. So we got there at 6 a.m. 6 or 7? 6, like 6:37. Had to wait, got on the buses. Didn't run until really like 8, 9 o'clock. Man, it fucking took forever. I actually have the medal. I was going to run out and get it real quick. It's pretty dope, actually. Like, but would I do it again? If I felt good, yeah. I would do that one. Would I do a regular 10K? No, not to save my life. It was
You know what would be
fucking
a
boring.
cool 10K is the ones they do in Disney.
No, they're not that fun.
Why? You don't get to go in, like
No.
it doesn't bring you in the parks?
Nope, you don't get to run in the park. You
Never
run
mind.
outside, and then even because I wanted to do it. I want to do the Star Wars one. I think it's like this weekend or something. The medals are fucking awesome. Don't get me wrong. The medals are fucking awesome. But you pay like $300 to $500 to run. You get the medal. You don't even get a discount to go into the park. Like, they don't give you a discount. They don't let you in to go to the park after you finish running. And you don't even get like a free shirt. They give you a virtual goodie bag. They give you like, here's some codes and get some free downloads of like photos and stuff and wallpapers for your computer.
Nope.
See what I'm saying? That's why I was like, that's why I haven't done it, because I would love it, man. If you look at
For that price, they should give you a ticket into the park.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I haven't done it. But the medals are dope. So now there's actually 2 different races that they do on the Space Coast, I found out. So the one I did was called Gateway to Space, and that's the one where you actually run on the runway, which is awesome. Like, you go and like the space shuttle's there. There's certain marks on the landing strip that tell you like historical points. Like, this is where the last Atlantis stopped. This is where the last like Challenger stopped, and you see the marks, like the tire marks and stuff. So it's awesome. It's really cool. As someone that likes history and space, super fucking awesome. Like, you're running.
Aren't they
and
going to
you see-
restart the shuttle? Or there's going
No.
to be there's some new program they're going to start in like.
They do the SpaceX and stuff, but they're not restarting.
There's
the
something
space shuttle.
starting, some NASA program starting in 2024.
They're not.
I think they're going to the moon again. I think that's what they're looking.
They
to do.
were talking about doing it where they want to actually like put people up on the moon, but the space shuttle program in its own. They're
Yeah,
not
but I don't
restarting
know
it.
how else they're going to do it. Are they going to use a SpaceX rocket?
Yeah. It's the same way how they do the Mars rover. They're planning on it. They did a study for Mars where they got volunteers to live in isolation for
it's
a year.
No, you can't. You mean on Mars?
No, not on Mars. They did the study here.
Right.
So they got people and they're like, they put them in like in an isolation chamber, and for a year they can't see anybody or like they can only talk to them through the radio. So that to see what the psychological impacts are.
Well, it's a one-way ticket. If you go to Mars, it's a one-way ticket.
It takes a year, I think, just to get there.
I don't think it takes that long.
Yeah. For them, I think it takes like a year to get there. I'm pretty sure. Here, I'll tell you what. You look it up. I'm going to go grab my awesome new medal to show you. But I'm pretty sure that they're not restarting the space shuttle program.
How long? You guys watching me here? How long will it take to get to Mars? please comment below and let us know how long you think it'll take. Around 7 months. 7 months to get to Mars. Imagine, oh man, imagine if you're a girl and you got pregnant right before you. It takes 7 months.
7 months. Okay, so a year.
So imagine this. Imagine you're a girl. Oh, that is cool.
It's cool, right? And it moves.
Ah.
How dope is that?
That's a good medal.
Yeah, so for those of you trying to look at it on YouTube, and it glows in the fucking dark. So, you know, yeah, this is what it only costs like $50 to do, which is not bad.
You should have just paid him $50 and took the medal.
I was actually going to try and steal it. So before you get into it, what I was going to say is, so there's 2 races. So one of them is this one, is Gateway to Space, and the other one is called, like, I think it's just called Space Coast or something like that. And they actually have, if you do the race every year, you get a different medal. So, like, let's say if I do it 3 years in a row, every year I get a new medal. If you do it once, you're only going to get that first medal. The fifth, either 5th or 6th medal, the final one you can get, is like this fucking big, and it's an astronaut like on the moon with the flag and stuff. They're pretty fucking cool. They're like, it's fucking massive. I should have taken a photo of it, but it's like this big. So I'm thinking about doing that, but it's like a full marathon, so I don't know if I really want to run that much. So you were saying, sorry. So if imagine you're a girl.
Yeah, imagine you're a girl and like you're going to Mars. You won.
Right.
It's your dream, but
Right.
your boyfriend has to stay here, and you right before you leave, you just happen to
Get pregnant?
hit it, and you end up pregnant. On your way, you start growing your belly on your way.
I'm sure they probably have a contingency plan for that. Like, they probably, like, forced her to take, like, Plan B pills.
You know what's weird is that baby will be the first.
Baby born in space.
Well, it would be the first native Martian.
Yeah, it would be. I'm sure they probably
This
already
time
have it
around.
planned. So would that make him the only person
He would be a Martian.
eligible? You would be a Martian.
He would be a Martian. He wouldn't be an Earthling. He'd be a Martian.
I'm sure they already have plans for making that happen. If it
You know,
hasn't
there's
already happened
like
already.
the conspiracy theories that are that was where we came from.
Yeah, and then we moved here. Yeah, I believe it. I would believe it. It would make sense.
I don't know. The weather is crap on that.
Yeah,
world.
but I mean, it's gonna get like that here on Earth as well. So it's like we moved further out because like we completely ran out of resources on that planet.
Or maybe what we've done is we've moved back and forth between the two planets. Like we wreck it,
And then come back.
and then
It'd be
we
doable.
figure out how to fix it again from the other planet. We fix it while we're wrecking the one we're on.
Well, that's the whole Aztec astronaut theory, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Sorta.
So there's like they found a bunch of hieroglyphs in I guess it would be a pyramid in Mexico, and it's the spaceman, like the original spaceman. So it's actually this guy in a spaceship flying, and it's like one of those like some Aztec whatever chief. So if you look at it, he's literally flying a spaceship, like leaving Earth. So it's pretty crazy if you look it up. I forget obviously what it's called, but if you look at the actual
weird. It's
artwork,
weird that I also heard that the pyramids in I think it's Mexico are
bigger than the pyramids in Egypt.
not so much bigger, but they're like in the same
Geographical lineup.
yeah, something about
Well, because it was based off of stars. I don't know if it's true or not, but it is based off of a star alignment. Aztec astronaut. Let's see.
there's
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if
weird
that's true.
stuff.
No,
over
there's
there.
a lot of
like
weird
there,
stuff.
I can't remember. There's these rocks that look like they were cut with lasers. Like
Oh, that was
and there's like
Pumapunku.
and there's like engravings in them.
Yeah, the Palenque astronaut. You'd have to like zoom in and stuff to see the details and stuff. So basically, it's the guy like laying back and he's like in a rocket, like flying out. So yeah, if you're trying to figure out what the hell we're talking about, look up Palenque Astronaut, Palenque. But you're thinking about, I'm pretty sure it's Pumapunku. Yeah, the rocks are basically like super laser cut, like fine tuned, and like it's impossible to figure out how they did it. Yeah, there's tons of weird stuff like that, and there's the Sun Gate and things like that. My thing has always been the wall with the faces. You ever seen that one?
Yeah, here they are.
Yeah. It's Pumapunku, right?
Yep.
There's a wall, I want to say it's in like Bolivia, where it's actually like a quarter of a room, and there's a ton of different faces of people from all over the globe. And this was done like thousands and thousands of years ago. And one of the faces, you look and you can tell it's like, oh, this is like a Viking, and this was like an Asian man, and then all of a sudden you see like alien face. It's pretty crazy. So there's tons of weird, crazy stuff like that. But either way, yeah, did the race. That was fun. I would probably do this 10K again just so I could get a better time because I was sick. But I don't know if I'd do the marathon just for a bunch of different medals. Not really my thing, but I did it. It was something cool. To be on the actual runway and stuff. And
Right.
be able to run. You see like the giant bay, like the space shuttle bays where they make all the rockets and SpaceX. There's literally a space shuttle right next to the runway, next to the tower. So it's cool, like you're running and like as you pass by the bushes, all of a sudden there's a fucking giant space shuttle.
You don't
looking
realize
at
how
you.
big they are.
Yeah. When's the last time you went to Kennedy Space
I've
Center?
never been to Kennedy Space
What?
Center. Never.
Seriously? Bro, you have to go. So they have the Atlantis exhibit. I almost like don't want to spoil it for you, but it's probably one of those things that if you see it in person and you just watch the show that they have and the presentation.
I've seen. You know where I've seen a space shuttle?
Live launching.
No, on top of a plane.
Oh yeah, that's how they used to transport it from Houston.
That's
back
the
and
only
forth.
time I've ever seen a space shuttle. I remember going, "Holy crap!"
So get this. So if you watch this presentation, it is such an awesome feeling of the potential of human beings. That's extremely inspiring. It really makes you feel like, fuck, these people did something massive.
It makes you feel like a POS.
Right. But so you walk into this room, it's like pitch black, right? And they have kind of like a couple of screens and pitch black. And they project this whole video of like the history of flight and like space shuttles and stuff like that. And it keeps going. And it's very theatrical and cinematic. And then out of nowhere, the screen, the wall that you're looking at, all of a sudden becomes see-through, and literally in your, like, say I'm getting goosebumps, in your face is the space shuttle pointed right at your fucking dome. So it's like, oh wow, this is so crazy. And then all of a sudden it just clears out, the wall clears out.
Do they let you in it?
Yeah. And then, well, into the actual space shuttle itself, no, but you walk into this giant room and it's hanging there. The bay's open. You see the arms, so you can literally see right through it. You can see tons of other pieces, and you can walk around. They have like old rockets and stuff like that. And then they have another show that's really cool where it shows, like, it simulates kind of like the lunar landing. It's really cool.
Or the actual
yeah.
lunar landing.
Listen, if you had the camera angles right, you probably could play it off that way. But no, it's really cool. Dude, you should go.
I will someday. I've always wanted to.
Dude, just go. Like, even if you go for like a day, you just drive up there early in the morning.
Welcome to Space Talk.
Yeah. No, right? But like, it's the best $20-$30 you'll spend. It's a fucking blast.
Yeah,
it's a whole day thing.
Yeah. I'll go definitely.
Should we get into
We should
jiu-jitsu?
probably talk about some jiu-jitsu stuff. I mean, we did talk about, hey, look, don't complain. We talked about geese.
Yeah. So, all right. Big news of the day. IBJJF cancels Pan Americans today. It was actually announced, 4 hours ago? Yeah.
Think about all you
5
people
o'clock.
get some extra time to train.
So they don't say. So let's read. I'm going to read to you
Pardon
the
me.
actual announcement that was made on the IBJJF website. Let me pull it up here. And it says, In an effort to prevent further spreading of COVID-19 or the coronavirus, the University of California, Irvine has canceled all events with more than 100 participants. Unfortunately, because of this, we are unable to hold the 2020 Pan Jiu-Jitsu Championship as currently scheduled. We will be refunding every registered athlete while we continue to work with UCI officials on the possibility of holding the event at a later date. Please stay tuned for further updates.
Where's it at? Where do they hold the pans at?
This one is at the University of California, Irvine. Sometimes they've had it at the Pyramid, at the Long Beach. Other times they've had it in Vegas. So it's
I don't know why. I think it's cool to just have the Worlds there.
Yeah.
At the Pyramid, like it was cool winning. That's where I won mine. It's but I would wish they would bring that, like even the Masters. Like if you're doing a World Championship, I think
change venues.
I think it should all be done at the Pyramid. That would be
it's difficult to do, and that's I think could go into the whole other conversations that I was planning to have with you, but it's very difficult to do that many events at the same venue because you have to book.
It would just be 3.
Yeah,
they're already doing 2. They do the Nogi Worlds there, and they do the Adult Worlds there.
Right. It's just very difficult to book a venue repeatedly over and over again like that. It costs a lot of money. And then obviously Worlds is going to give you a different fan base or attendance base compared to PanAms. So, and it's also a different amount of people that are competing. So it's, you have to cater to that as well.
Right. And I get it, but I think to that there's something about being in that pyramid,
that prestige,
it's
it's the aura of it,
and it's not that. I mean, no, it does. It takes away, that when the other worlds that I went to that were in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
it takes away from it's not the same feeling. It's
I think it's different for everybody because you're looking at it from a historical aspect. It's like the equivalent of someone wanting to fight at Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Fighting inside Madison Square Garden isn't the same as if you're fighting inside of the T-Mobile Arena or Staples Center.
Exactly.
For me, I would sit there and say I would love to say I played basketball inside Madison Square Garden or the Staples Center. For me, probably be more the Staples Center, but it's at the end of the day irrelevant to the goal of actually winning. You just want that saying I got to compete there and win.
Well, no, but there's a different feeling.
For sure.
Because the way that the worlds are set up now, there's some bleachers.
Yeah.
But the way that it's set up at the pyramid, it's you have no choice but to look down and look into the bowl, the lower bowl where all the mats are.
Well, I mean,
where now when you go to the worlds, the bleachers don't go up that high. First of all, they're they're maybe 10 rows high or something like that. So it's just a different feeling.
For sure.
The atmosphere is different.
Yeah. I mean, when they did ADCC, it was at the Anaheim Convention Center, but it wasn't in the middle of the Anaheim Convention Center. It was a small arena off to the side, which at first I was like, man, this is kind of weird. But then I realized this is a mini Coliseum. The setup is great, and it literally only gave us 50% of the venue because we weren't allowed to sit 360 around it. So we only had this half. The show was obviously projecting that way. As from wrestling, you understand.
Right. No, yeah. I get cutting.
Yeah.
But that's what makes the pyramid so awesome is it's not that big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like you get lost in it. Where you could get lost in some of these bigger venues.
Or the convention centers and things like that. So I get it.
Yeah.
So I can't think off the top of my head, has any other ones been canceled? I can't think
ever.
Ever.
Not since I've been competing.
So it's pretty crazy.
Maybe one of the Europeans back when the volcanoes.
Yeah, maybe. I'd have to double check. I obviously this just happened a few hours ago, so there wasn't any real time to do any kind of history search on it. But it's pretty crazy.
Well, there was time. It was just didn't think about it.
No, I just didn't have time because I went straight from. I literally saw the announcement, started training, and then came straight here. So there wasn't any real time, but it's pretty crazy. And there was a lot of cool announcements leading up to it, like Rafael Lovato Jr. signed up for the first Pan Am since 2014. He signed up for it.
Adult or Masters?
Master 1 Heavy, which would have been cool to see him. And obviously, like, we can talk more about him in a little bit.
Well, unfortunately, like, it's cool, but it sucks at the same time.
As far as
the fact that why he's signing, why he's doing the because he can't fight anymore.
Oh, well, I mean,
that's a sad state of affairs that he can't fight. But at the same time, the selfish part of me is like, well, cool, we get to see him compete in jiu-jitsu more.
do you think that this is? I don't think it's just because he can't fight because of like his health situation right now. I think maybe like he's trying to get the most out of what he may have left.
Well, if he was fighting, he definitely wouldn't be doing jiu-jitsu.
No, I know, but I'm saying like the fact that like now he's competing a lot more. He just did SubStars a few weeks ago. Like,
well, he's still a competitor. I mean,
he's still a competitor.
But do you
think
always been
partially
a competitor?
it's kind of like just him trying to max out like his time?
No, because he's got plenty of time. He can do jiu-jitsu, for decades still. It's the brain issues that he has is more about impact than physical effort.
And then the other thing too is Mikey signed up for the heavyweight division. He had signed up for the heavyweight division.
I saw that
for Pan
picture.
Am.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, that's what he did. He signed up for the heavyweight division. He had Roberto Jimenez, who's a teammate of his. He signed up in it too. Excuse me. He had Jackson Souza, Adam Wardzinski, Tex Johnson, Tim Spriggs. So we could have seen Mikey really go at it in the heavyweight division. Which I kind of think, though, I think he thought that this was going to happen anyway. And he's got his match against Herbert Santos.
I thought Herbert pulled out of that.
He did, and then I guess it got
now
put
it's
back
on again.
It's on again at the Who's Number One event, March 30th
I
or
was
something like that.
literally just talking to somebody the other day about that, and I was like, "Well, I heard Herbert."
He did. He dropped out.
Dropped out.
He dropped out because he didn't have the money. And then
I wonder if someone's staking him.
For sure, someone's staking him because he doesn't have that money to burn like that. He doesn't win those competitions enough to make that kind of money to burn and set it up like that. And even then, I don't think he's going to last with Mikey. Like, even if it goes to decision, I don't think he's going to be doing enough to win a decision against Mikey. I just don't see it happening. I think Mikey has the mental fortitude to withstand any of his, like, frustration and aggression tactics.
It's funny when Kyle Terra made that post, Tom texted me.
Yeah.
He's like, "Do you think you can beat Mikey?" I go, "Nope."
No.
Nope. I go, "I passed his guard maybe once when we trained together."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And that was a
17-year-old Mikey.
Yeah.
Not a 24-year-old man.
Yeah.
Who's the most decorated
American
jiu-jitsu
practitioners
of all time.
Since like BJ Penn. And so here's the thing though. So everybody, obviously, the reason why it was canceled was because of the coronavirus. What I think is funny is that I've yet to hear any talks about jiu-jitsu schools closing down because of coronavirus. They've actually shut down universities in South Florida. Like, no one's allowed to go back to classes after spring break, so everybody has to do classes remotely. But I haven't heard.
How do you even make that happen?
As far as what?
How do you do classes remotely?
You just get a webcam. That's all. It's super easy. The fact that it takes this for people to think about that, once they see how much
this
money,
might be the future of.
For sure. I mean, there's tons of colleges, obviously, that already do that.
Well, I took online classes at FAU my last semester.
The problem with online classes, and the reason why they haven't really made a push for it, is that it's very difficult to authenticate that everyone's in attendance.
Well, you don't attend anything. It's more the way the online classes work is they give you work.
No,
and
right.
you do it or you don't.
But if you're talking about a regular class, like not just an online class, it's like the teacher sitting there and doing it. People would send in their questions, or they jump on their own microphone and make it a live situation. It's very difficult to authenticate that, okay, everybody is in attendance. All they'd have to do is be there for the first 5 minutes, check, I'm in. Or the teacher would have to do it every 10 minutes. They'd have to say, make sure you check in.
Well, it'd be easy. It'd be one of those things like every 5 minutes.
Right, but
you got to click whatever, and you got to make it at least.
I had a fucking class, and to this day, I'm so pissed off. I think it was anatomy physiology. They made me spend $200 on the shittiest little remote where I would have to answer questions during class, and that was how they checked to make sure that we were there, because as soon as you came in, you'd have to click and just like check in, and then he would ask the question, so they made sure you'd interact. Like, why? $200 for this fucking remote, and you couldn't even sell it back afterwards. It was just to be thrown away. And so I can't. There's so much bullshit in those college courses. So it's like the fact that they see this happening, I think a lot of colleges are probably going to end up making that push of making things remote like this. But so a lot of events got scrapped, not just PanAms, also Third Coast Grappling for the most part got scrapped. It's now a Texas only event. So I was actually supposed to fly out to Houston Friday for this event, and so Gordon and Patrick Gaudio got canceled, and all the other ones got canceled too. So it's gonna happen. Coachella got canceled.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam is canceling concerts.
What was the music fest? Ultra.
Ultra got canceled in Miami. People are flipping the fuck out. And here's the thing, and it kind of goes along with the other stuff that I wanted to talk about, because I've been having these arguments with people about why a lot of these promoters can't offer refunds. Some people can, some people can't. Ultra is not giving people refunds. So imagine you just dropped $600 on a ticket.
Is that how much tickets are?
Yeah. I paid, when I went to Ultra,
I don't even know what Ultra is. Like, I know.
Well, you don't listen to
music.
It's electronic music. So it's all electronic.
So it's just a bunch of guys with laptops.
It depends who it is. I mean, you have like old school people like Kraftwerk, where it's like 4 German dudes in like Tron outfits or whatever. Or you'd have guys like Marshmello, the guy with the marshmallow suit.
With a laptop.
Right. There's laptops. Some people still have the full-on like DJ setup.
Turntables.
I mean, they don't do it anymore just because physically they don't need to. And then also if you have everything on the laptop. But I mean, a lot of them still have to have
I
setup.
don't see that. I guess that's a discussion it's a discussion for a different day, because I don't see the artistry there. If you have everything on a laptop, why do I need you there?
Well, some people are different. You have artists like Daft Punk that literally, like, yes, everything's pre-programmed, but they still manipulate everything and they still do all the stuff there. I guess really the artwork comes in on creating the music ahead of time, and then the rest is all about entertainment. So some do change it. They'll remix stuff like for the live shows, but it's really all about the visuals and the vibe more than the actual art of the music. The art of the music you can appreciate anywhere, but like the live is really about the energy and the ambiance and the show.
But like when I think of a DJ, this like... Did you what was that? Did you see that show? It was on Netflix. That was like the history of hip hop.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it was. Not the actual history of hip hop. It was like the
evolution of hip hop or something like that.
It was can't remember what it was called, but it was like it took place in the 70s.
Yeah, he talks about like growing up with like Africa Bambaataa and then having the battles and stuff. Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, whatever that show was, that would yeah, that was skill. Like, you marked your records and like making the records together.
But
and
you're talking about 2 different genres altogether.
I understand.
You're calling DJs all the same thing. It was different.
But
like,
those guys,
house music, techno music, whether it's any type of EDM, like electronic dance music, regardless of the genre, that is a completely different culture compared to hip hop. And
no, I agree. But I've seen I've seen
You
actual
think those
DJs.
DJs are different than those DJs?
Right. It's
mean-
one thing between plugging in a hard drive to your computer and another thing of taking actual music and changing it to.
Well, I mean, and even then, if you look at those guys, and like if you look at every year they do, basically, I forget what it's called, but it's basically the DJ Olympics, and you see what they do. It's completely insane. It's completely insane, and that's to me more of an art form where they scratch. I mean, they'll have guys where they'll purposefully make vinyl that plays backwards. So instead of the needle going from the outside in, it goes from the inside out. They'll and they mark their vinyl with like little markers so they know where to drop it. There's guys that have gone the Jimi Hendrix route where they've literally set the vinyl on fire while they're scratching and playing, and you hear the crazy stuff. One guy I remember, he won one year because he took a spindle, he put it on it, set the vinyl on top, and then flipped the needle upside down. So instead of being on the top, it was pushing up into the groove, and then he scratched, and he had like the same kind of touch and finesse. Like people went absolutely apeshit. So yes, that part is
that to me,
art form.
that's
but
an art form.
There's people that are like, well, that's not really DJing, that's scratching. Like that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, but a lot of those guys were able to take. That's where DJing came in. Where being able to take two albums, sometimes of completely different genres, mixing them together and making something new that was like both like one of my favorite ones from the 90s. So from the 90s, there was an album called Rave Till Dawn. And somebody mixed O Fortuna and made it into a hip or not a trip hop or electronic dance song.
Right.
And it's still one of my favorite songs.
Oh, no, there's tons of people. They still do that. Again, it's what you see there is, again, about the show. So you get those big name DJs and stuff, and it's not your style, so you're not going to go nuts about it.
Right.
But, I mean, if you get me out there, like, I have a fucking blast. Like, depending on what the DJ is, it's fucking crazy. But the
and I know, Steve Aoki likes to throw cake at people.
Yeah, no, he has and his is, again, it's all like different energy. But then you get guys like Madonna came out one year, Justin Bieber came out there. They did like guest sets and stuff like that. But if you go down to like Miami Music Week, like it's crazy. There's parties everywhere, and it's all crazy, like awesome DJs. So you're basing your judgment off of what you see and stuff there. But it's
I'm not saying they're not entertaining.
No,
they can't be
I'm not saying
entertaining.
you're not,
I just don't think it's an art form.
But again, if you aren't
their performance
there,
is
right,
not an art form.
If you haven't been to it and like you see the vibe, then it's totally different. There are some DJs that yes, they just hit play and they look like they're tweaking knobs and they're not doing shit. And then there's other guys that go absolutely fucking crazy and they won't even play their own music. They find old songs and they mix them, remix them all on the live. So like that's when it gets into a real crazy art form.
Then there's people like when I was in the 90s, I went down to Miami and we saw the name of the album, Fat of the Land, Prodigy.
Yeah.
Like they're a full on
band.
Yeah. And it's still electronic.
Yeah.
Like that, I'll tell you what, like if you ever put that you don't realize, but that music kind of stands the test of time.
Oh yeah, no, there's
like
tons
Breathe
of,
will still get you fired up.
Yeah.
And Smack My Bitch Up.
Yeah, but again, that's because that's what you were listening to when you grew up. If I played you new cuts, like you'd be like, this does not speak to me. But it's not. It's like the music of like if you hear it now, like you automatically go back to like, man, I remember like summer, everybody packing up in my car, we went to the beach, and like you know exactly that song. So it doesn't have that connection with you because you didn't live through a certain time that meant something to you with that music. So it's always relative. It's the same way if someone's like, oh, if you fucking played Elvis now, like it brings me back to like that time we cut school or whatever it was. You know what I mean? So it's different.
How old do you think I am talking about
I'm
Elvis?
not saying you. Listen, like I can tell you like tons of songs that have nothing to do with the time that it was in, but like that brings me back to whatever certain area.
Sweet Child of Mine.
For sure.
That'll bring me back.
Yeah. So it's all relative. But anyway, so the idea is promoters can't pay people back because they didn't make the money yet. So for example, the other thing that happened was SubStars doesn't exist anymore. So that was an event we haven't gotten to talk about it because I haven't been back since. So SubStars was an awesome event. They really tried to go for that 80cc vibe to it. They had like the taiko drums and then the samurais.
That was
stuff like that.
It was awesome.
It was cool. It was awesome. But you saw it from the crowd.
Yeah.
I saw it from the stage. And the first thing that I said is, there's not enough people in here to pay
I
for
walked
this.
in. When I walked in, I saw how big the venue was. I go, and it was getting close to showtime. And I was like, I was looking around, and I go, this will be the last one.
Right. So now here's the thing, like from someone who's booked concerts before, including ones at the Fillmore, I can tell you that's not a cheap venue.
I figured, so let me tell me if I'm close. I figured to rent the Fillmore is between 10 and 15 grand.
That's the liquor license, my friend. To rent the Fillmore?
Yeah.
It's like 50, 75, buddy.
What?
It's a historical venue.
No, I understand
This is the
that.
Jackie Gleason Theater. The Fillmore has had concerts that have gone down in history. Don't get me wrong, I am 99% sure that's the theater that Jim Morrison got arrested
kicked
at.
out. Yeah,
He got arrested. I'm 99% sure. Don't check it.
Definitely going to look that up.
And see how good my music history knowledge is. I'm pretty sure. What's
Jim
Morrison arrested in Miami?
Yep.
What's it say? I'm 90% sure. What's it say?
Dinner Key Auditorium.
What is it?
The old Dinner Key Auditorium. I don't know where that is.
It's probably not even there anymore. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I'm wrong. Definitely got that wrong on Jeopardy. Anyway, you got to look at it this way. So whenever you rent a venue like this, so people like, and I'm not defending SubStars,
Right.
because they should be paying their athletes first, but it's not feasible whenever you do an event. So to rent in a theater like this, you got a couple of options, right? Excuse me. So whenever you make a deal with the owner of the venue, you say, hypothetically speaking, this is what happened. Hey, listen, I want to do an event. How much does it cost to rent the venue? It's like $50,000 for you to use the venue that night. Okay. I need to use lights in your sound. Okay, that's another 10, 20 grand. You need to also have my security and staff on board that night. Okay, that's another maybe 10, 15 grand, right? Then that covers the tickets, the staff, whatever, like seating people, the security outside, and then you have to have the police because they're gonna have to have the police. And then you have to have. You want to serve liquor at this event, of course, because you want to make money. So now you got to pay.
Well, unless you let them have the concessions.
Doesn't matter. You still have to pay for the liquor license.
No.
Yes. Yes, you still have to pay for.
Not in the wrestling business.
Not in wrestling, but that's different. The concessions is a whole different part of the deal that you do, right? So let's say if you're renting the venue from me, we can sit there and say, okay, well, if you pay full price to rent out the venue, then you get 100% of ticket sales. You pay this, this, and this. I still make 50% of concessions. It's whatever the house rules are. You can also sit there and say, okay, well, you can have the venue for this much. I make 20% of your ticket sales, 20% of your concessions, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Some people even take percentages of merchandise depending on the venue. Not everybody. So now you want to sell liquor at your event, correct? All right, you got to pay for that liquor license permit, because it's on you. All right, you also have to have insurance for whatever goes on. If anything happens to my people or whatever, you have to pay for that insurance. So you're already talking about $250,000, $300,000.
There's no way that Fillmore was $300,000.
So now, but that's what I'm telling you is what it costs, and not even a single ticket has been fucking sold yet.
Yeah.
Right. And now you want to do streaming, right? Okay, well now that's just depending on what kind of streaming you want to do. If you want to just do it like how we did the the Amazonian Open, whatever, the Zenobia Open, that's one thing. That's doable. That's not the setup that they had. Okay, so you want to stream it? You got to have the internet. It's probably 5,000 to 10,000 of equipment, and you got to pay the people that are operating it, including the switchboards. You got to get the sound guy and the light guy to run the lights. You got to pay them. You had Jason Chambers and Scott, what's his face?
Sean Patrick.
Sean Patrick, right? Okay,
Flannery.
they got to get paid too. You know it. They didn't get paid $500 for that night.
They didn't get paid at all.
They right, but they were probably contracted out to what, 1,000?
I don't think Jason Chambers got 1,000.
No, but
Sean Patrick, he
maybe.
probably got.
Right? Okay, so now we're climbing up there, and again, you haven't sold a single fucking ticket. You haven't sold a single ticket. Now we're getting into the talent. That 600-pound Japanese legend that came out there, he's not cheap. You got to fly him out.
Do you know
there.
he was in John Wick 2?
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's a legit legend, man. Both of those guys.
No, the big guy. The big
600
one.
pound.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to show you that photo, by the way.
I saw that photo. I have that photo on my phone.
No.
The bent over one?
Yeah, I got way worse than that. You got to pay them more than anything, right? And then you got Rumble. I'm assuming Rumble got paid first because I know Rumble, and he didn't play around with the whole pay me later, right? And then you got to talk about all those other guys that you were supposed to pay. Then you got to talk about the people that you probably flew out, like Lovato, Shanta Ribeiro.
Jonde was there?
Shanta was there. He was cornering Lovato. Drysdale, right? Was it Drysdale that was out there? Yeah, Drysdale was out there.
Drysdale? Who was he coaching?
He was just there. Or no, he was coaching the guy that competed against Patrick Gaudio.
I didn't even notice him.
Yeah. So all this stuff, and then the taiko drummers, you got to pay them before they even show up. They don't do the whole thing. This is all pay. And then the guys that ran the show for you. And then I doubt that they did any kind of actual like flyers and printing, but they probably did for the Miami area. So now that's another couple.
Do you want me to tell you?
$1,000.
Here's the problem. You can't have you do not have an event like that in Miami.
And then here's the thing. There wasn't any real sponsors. There was no sponsors. So you already fucked up. You should have.
Sponsors should have been your first thing. But you don't have that event in Miami. You know where you have events in South Florida?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale North.
Can't.
Why?
Fort Lauderdale is the furthest up north you can go.
Why can't you go to what? You could definitely do
Miami. Miami will not travel to West Palm.
They will.
Miami will not travel to West Palm.
I guarantee you they would.
I'm telling you from putting on shows, Miami will not travel. You're
talking music. I'm talking grappling. Think about how do I know this? Because we saw people drive up to Orlando. Also, the Boca.
There wasn't even that many people from Fight Sports in Orlando, bro. There was like a handful of people. The Orlando Open, it was all Fabian Rosa, Alliance, Hobinho, and what? And a couple of the ATT guys from there locally. But there, you didn't see that many Fight Sports people.
I don't know. I don't remember. But what I do know is the Boca Open that they did that one time. That was a heavily attended show for people from everywhere.
They only did it once.
But
so that shows you that there wasn't enough people to show up.
That or just the
remember that Copa Open that Tom competed in?
Yeah.
How many people showed up from?
Oh, that was nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody showed up for that.
Exactly.
But that's a small thing. I expect people to go to IBJJF. Here's why I think they didn't do it in Boca again, is because Buyu puts them on. He's like the coordinator for all these things down here, and it was just too far away from him to run back and forth.
And that's the same thing. It's Miami.
But if you're running a single event and you live in Fort Lauderdale, anywhere from Fort Lauderdale to West Palm, that's where you do.
Bro, we went to an MMA fight in Palm Beach. Remember that one? Whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah, they did no. It comes down to promotion.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but you still had people.
I believe. But here's the thing. I totally believe that Fort Lauderdale is the best place to have.
It's 100%.
100%. I'm just saying it can happen here.
Yeah.
If you promote it correctly.
Is it doable? Yes, not at that scale. It would.
And the reason I can tell you this is look how many people go to the Coral Sky Amphitheater.
That's different. Again, you're bringing up music this time. That's different. I would travel to Orlando for shows. I've done it. I'd travel down to Miami for shows. We've done it. It's not the same when you're talking about a niche thing like jiu-jitsu. It's just not that many people even knew about SubStars. So bad promoting. You have can't have people. You can't have a card, and this is no disrespect to fight sports. You can't have a card 90% fight sports and expect people from Tampa
other places
in
to
Orlando
go.
to show up.
Exactly.
So that right there, you fuck yourself over. Also, as much fun as I had watching the sumo, because I'm a fan of sumo, no one gave a fuck about sumo.
It killed the show.
Because
that guy was corny as shit.
Right, and it was like,
I hated that guy.
right, he was just a bad announcer to begin with. So
Trying to get crowd participation. Do you know
and
where
people were just laughing at it? People were just laughing at it because it's not a sumo show. It's wrestling.
And
people don't care about the history of sumo.
Well, and the other thing is, you got to know your audience.
right.
He probably kills it at like
A sumo show.
well, I wasn't even gonna say a sumo show, but what he probably kills it at is like a corporate event or
Right.
or like
So it's like you would have to
a
have
karate expo.
But you would have to have someone like you and I managing running that microphone for those events. Why? Because we're established in the area. Everybody in the audience already knows us. That's already there. Why do people love Bruce Buffer? Because everybody fucking knows Bruce Buffer. If you got somebody completely different from like K1, the only people that are going to know are the diehards.
Right.
That's just the way that it is. Well, why do people love having Mike Cardoso as a ref? Because everybody down here knows him. Everybody knows he's fair. But if you see any of the other refs, I don't know who the fuck that is. I'm fucked. And it happened.
Yeah.
It's like I heard Gordon complaining a bunch of times to the other ref. It's like it's just the way that it is. So now,
Did he complain what his girlfriend?
yeah, when Natalia lost and stuff like that, but the guy was fucking up everybody's calls.
But
He
what
was-
I thought she won that match. I thought
Who,
not
Natalia?
no. I
No,
thought
Jasmine?
Jasmine won the match.
Right, but the way that the guy was reffing that match was not a 50-50 thing. It was just, I got to call it because the match was going on so long. I got to call it. Or look at Cyborg against Rafael Lovato. Why the fuck did we kept doing 2-minute things? Let it keep going. Don't give them a break. So there was tons of things that was completely set up wrong. Those seats up front, do you know how much those VIP seats cost?
I heard they were $500 a table
Go up, buddy. He was charging like $1,000, $2,000
for 4 seats.
for 4 seats. Rumble's friends, like the guys that I knew, the from Redcon were sitting there stage side. There was 2 or 3 tables stage sides. And I'd only, the person that was sitting there is the only person I know in the entire venue that could afford those seats. And that was Aaron from Redcon 1. All right. So I know those guys personally. So I know oh, he's got money. That's why he's sitting up there. So there was so many things all fucked up that was wrong. So people are like, well, now the fighters aren't going to get paid. That's not the way you run a fucking event, my man.
Well, that's why it's not.
That's why you're not going to do it. Me, as a businessman, from someone that I've done this before, if I sit there and say, I need this artist to perform, if you're an artist and I'm booking you, because I see it,
You got to have that money ahead of time.
I do 20% down, and then the rest you're getting the night of, right? That's the deal that you and I make. But now we're talking about fighters. Shit doesn't work that way for grappling. Not if you want to put a real good event. And that's kind of what Third Coast Grappling is dealing with now. And Third Coast is an amazing event. Don't get me wrong. I was super excited for it. But they got fucked over on this one too. And the fact that they're doing this whole local card is more of like a fight to win kind of setup. Because they fucked themselves over with the fact that now they can't have the event. Obviously, they had to call it early. Because they were talking so much trash about SubStars and they were risking getting in the same spot, and all of a sudden you weren't going to have anybody. And that's a whole other thing that happened with SubStars. They made these claims that they made all this money on the pay-per-view. Didn't happen.
No, the kid. Did you see the kid's speech?
Alex, yeah.
He said he didn't have the money to pay anybody. He said he will try to. He will do whatever he can to make it right. Did you read Cyborg's post?
No, what did he say?
Cyborg made a post about it on And he was basically saying this isn't right,
It's not.
and he's 100% correct.
He's not. He should have gotten paid first. He should get paid. It should be almost like you got two options from someone who puts on events like this. You either show and win money like an MMA fighter, or you just pay that person and they go to compete. Now, you can't do it that way because you run the risk of someone like, I already got fucking paid. I'm not going to, I don't need to go all out for this. So there's no bonus on there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you did a combat jiu-jitsu and I pay you the 10 grand up front, there's no reason for you to fucking fight and really get hurt.
Well, there is an incentive because you still want to get paid that for your next show, so
Now,
you got to win.
I would sit there and do something like, listen, I'll pay you. You need to show up, right? If you show up Saturday night, 5 o'clock, before it even starts, this is the contract that we have. Before you even get on the mat, here's your 2 grand, right? Boom, there's your money. You could win $10,000 bonus.
Like the ABIs.
Right. You could win $10,000 bonus. That's extra. Like, you already made your 2. Go fight for 10, right? So at least you know you're getting paid for showing up. God forbid you get hurt, you're getting paid. That would be the way to do it. The problem is, any other way that you do it, you're depending on hopefully getting sponsors and ticket sales. So let's look at it this way. Let's say, all in all, $200,000 is what it costs to get the venue that night. For Friday night, March or February, whatever it was, $200,000, right? How many people sit in that venue? Let me look it up right now.
I'll say 5,000.
5,000? I think you'd probably be all right. Let's see. Let me look it up right now because I don't remember. Fillmore, Miami seating capacity. I don't think you'd be too far off. No. 2,713 guests. That's how much it can sit. All right? So let's round it off to 2,500. How much was your ticket to get in?
40.
$40? Where's my calculator? So 2,500 times 40. $100,000. You're already $100,000 in the hole.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't think the Fillmore was that much to rent.
I'm telling you, it's a lot.
I don't think it's
The Fillmore, normally tickets cost like $80 to get in, right? And then the artist is automatically making all merch. So there was no merch sales. There's none of that stuff. The Fillmore, even if it's 30,000, right? You already have to make that. Like tickets for the Fillmore aren't cheap, man.
Let me give so bottom line.
And he didn't have the upper level open.
Here's what I learned in wrestling. Your first show is an investment. You're losing 100% of the money that you're putting into it.
Yeah.
Your hope is that you make enough money on the first show to have a second show.
Correct.
And you just keep going as you build to the point where it becomes something that people are now, it's a product that people want. So you can't just, he showed up like he was fight to win.
Yeah.
And he did it in an expensive venue. And which was a great venue.
Yeah.
But I think it was, and Cyborg said the same thing. That night I was talking with, because Jacob and Calvin went, and I was like, this guy's trying to fly before he knows how to walk.
Listen, if it was me.
And Cyborg said the same thing.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And he, you can't book anybody ever again.
What he should have done is he should have kept with the.
And you know what he said is that he can, and this isn't public knowledge. He told people that he can't pay them until April, and even in April, he can only pay 10%.
What he should have done was stuck with the format he had. Go to these small places. Go to the brewery. Go to...
For sure.
Go to these places where your overhead is this much. Get more local talent. You don't need to bring in a whole bunch of people. Maybe 2 matches at the top of the card. Make the 2 matches at the top of the card like the big names.
And there was also and he did so many things differently just to sit there and There was no cohesive image of what it is. Sumo, unlimited like timing match, like submission only.
6-minute matches.
6-minute matches. It's like either it's, bro, 5 or 6 matches, submission, no time limit, go. If you want to really do like a crazy match, like best 2 out of 3, you have 5 minutes, whatever.
I think that EBI format is the best format.
But even then, it's not because nobody's watching EBI. There was a combat jiu-jitsu EBI the other day. Did you know about it?
Well, that's because but nobody's watching the EBI combat jiu-jitsu, but people were watching.
You know why nobody's watching
the
EBIs anymore?
Because he doesn't put any on in over
he doesn't put
2
it
years.
And you know why? Because is making the exact same fucking mistake. He's sitting there and wants to do this whole big show, and then what's he do? 90% of the people competing are 10th Planet. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, but it was innovative, and it was like
what was innovative?
The whole rule set, the whole
like, and I'm not disagreeing that it was innovative for what it is, but to judge people off of the escape time of whether you're in spider web or if you're a back take, that's bullshit, right? Especially because nobody
Why
knows
is that bullshit?
Because nobody knows the rule set. Even the refs that he hired didn't know the rule set.
What, Eddie's?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Yes, go back and look at it. There's so many times where people are just debating back and forth, and they try to do it they did like, what was it? There was another event.
I don't know. The last 3 were
like Submission Underground tried to do the exact same thing.
Yeah,
they
but
tried to
that's
take the rule
Submission.
set. I know, but they're trying to take the same rule set, and again, people are just fucking it up. Like Eddie's fucked up his own rule set.
Eddie. So I think that problem with Eddie is Eddie he's always wanted to do combat jiu-jitsu, and even though the reason why he was doing the EBI was because he couldn't get combat jiu-jitsu sanctioned.
Right.
So he started the EBIs, but the problem was they were, or not even the problem. Well, it's his problem now is they were gaining steam. Like they were getting
He kept
watched.
on losing. Yeah, but he kept on losing investors. He changed investors a bunch of times. Like, let's be honest. The real reason why as many events has happened is because Joe floated him, and because what's his face, Joey Diaz floated him. There's a reason why there was giant logos for Mad Flavor on the fucking mat, right? And there's a reason why there's a giant JRE logo on the fucking mat. Origin tried to like support him. There's a bunch of people, but again, it still comes down to the same thing. You have people trying to put on these big shows that cost a lot of fucking money. Look at, he did the Orpheum. The Orpheum is another legendary venue. That shit ain't cheap, man.
Yeah.
That shit is not cheap. And even then, you still only had like a majority of 10th Planet people that showed up. There's only so many that are going to show up. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you do an event with 90% fight sports. For sure, everybody from fight sports is going to show up. Like, for sure. But what about everybody else? Like, okay, so you have, like Gordon Ryan's coming out there. You're not going to sit there and promote Gordon Ryan? Literally the #1 guy pound for pound in jiu-jitsu right now. Like, you got all these names and you want to do this whole big show. You don't have the money to back it up. You don't have any sponsors. It should have been every 5 minutes go up there like, I wanted to say a big thank you to Tommy and Scramble for putting on the show. Get this, go get yours, blah blah blah. Go to the merch booth in the back. What you need to understand is when artists go on tour, unless you're a big artist where you're buying the venue, like when you see U2, Madonna, all that stuff, yes, sometimes it's the promoter bringing it in, but most of the time they're paying for it. So all the money that comes in from ticket sales is theirs. All the merch comes in, it's theirs. Most of the time, an artist going to different venues like the Film or the Orpheum or like Stone Pony, stuff like that, all their money is made from merch.
Yeah.
It's called you're evening out. Very rarely are you going to be in the black on ticket sales. It's just the way that it is. It's just the way that it is. Unless you have someone like me or like a professional in marketing that can get your ticket sales and sets the tour up in the appropriate areas for you, anytime you do something like this, you are losing money, man. And the fact is, it should be the sponsorship money is what pays the fighters. Everything else is for you to pocket so you can get the other event.
Right.
But again, I could sit here and tell you hours every single fuck up that all these people are doing, and they do it time and time and time and time.
And
again.
here's the thing: is we could put on an awesome show,
I'm already working on it.
But I don't have the time.
I'm already working on it.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm already working on it. I already have like the couple of people I've spoken with, because I'm so frustrated with the fact that, again, I don't have any problem with Alex. I don't have any problem with anybody else that puts on like events. Is that you're talking about trying to support the sport, but you don't have the knowledge and you don't want to spend the money of hiring the people that puts on the right fucking show. Like, that's it. Whether it's MMA promoters, whether it's jiu-jitsu grappling event promoters, you're fucking over your own sport. And because you don't fucking know what the fuck you're doing. I don't give a shit. Nobody gives a shit about the lights. Nobody gives a shit about the sound. Nobody gives a shit that you have Jason Chambers announcing it. No one even fucking knows who he is unless you watch TV in 1998 to 2005, right? We know because we follow grappling and MMA. We know who he is. Most of those guys didn't fucking know who he is. Shawn, Patrick, whatever the fuck his face is, like, nobody knows who the fuck he is.
Well, yeah, you do if you watch movies.
B movies.
We talk. Powder was an incredible movie.
Yeah.
So was Boondock Saints.
Okay.
I'll tell you what.
1996. Cool.
I'll tell you what though. I'm
not saying he's a bad guy. He was a super nice guy.
I was super impressed with his passion and knowledge of the sport. I know he's a black belt and everything, but like
he definitely knew it, but there was no reason behind him being there. You don't get anything out of it. It's the same way when, remember, they were doing Metamoris and they had what's his face, Married with Children guy, Ed O'Neill. Nobody cares. Jiu-Jitsu people that have been around know he's a black belt, but nobody gives a fuck that Ed O'Neill is being a commentator on your match right now. Nobody cares. Like, I would love to have an event where I have what's her face, like Lean Hart or whatever, the lady that did the K1 and all that stuff, like Pride, the announcer for Pride. Would love to do that. Would I pay the exorbitant amount of money to have her there just so I could sit there and have her? No, I just wouldn't. Nope. I wouldn't, because you don't get anything out there. Who would I get? I would get someone with presence that could come out there and do it. I would get someone like me, someone like you, someone like Blake.
Blake Chadwick. He's a great announcer.
Right, someone that fucking knows it. I wouldn't get Jimmy Fuckface that sat there and got into the UFC for a year, because it's going to be a bullshit fucking show. It's the mistake a lot of people make. They think bringing in names will add prestige, and it doesn't. Right. You're literally fucking pissing money away. You're pissing money away, and if SubStars didn't show that to you, if any of these other events that are crashing and burning didn't show that to you, if the fact that no one has learned still anything from Metamoris, I can't fucking tell you. I can't sit there.
It's sponsorship. If you don't have sponsors, don't do a show.
No one cares about it. Can you get asses in seats? Can you put on
every
the right
28
event?
inches?
Can you get fucking fights? Can you get fights that are worth watching? So, for example, me against you, that wouldn't be a fucking fight that anybody wants to watch, right? AJ Agazam against anybody, you'll get some people wanting to watch. No one really give a fuck. Gordon Ryan against Cyborg, people will fucking watch, right? Gary Tonin against almost anybody, like Yuri Samoas or something like that, people will fucking watch it. Vinny Magalesh, you'll get against anybody, people will fucking watch it. Cool. Let's say we don't want A-level. Roberto Jimenez, up and comer, get him against Keenan Cornelius.
I wonder why Mikey's not doing these.
He's trying to. He's slowly building it up, but he's not gonna sit there and do like these small, like these events like Gordon is, because that's not what Mikey wants. Mikey isn't. I think he's getting smarter that he wants to do it for the money, and he wants to do the show, but he just wants that. Like, at the end of the day, the truth is, in our sport, the more of these IBJJF World Championships that you get, or ADCC, that's the only thing that's gonna get you paid. No one's going to fucking pay you extra because you won an EBI. No one gives a fuck. Like, that's
I don't know, but do you win enough of those in a row? I mean, Gary Tonin and Gordon Ryan built their names off of EBI.
Right. And then he fucking quickly took off and did everything else except for EBI.
because they stopped doing them.
Right. Because
I think
no one gives a fuck.
No, I think if Eddie has said the reason he stopped doing those was so he could do the I think he put all his eggs in the wrong basket.
He put it in the wrong chips. He thought he was gonna create like another UFC.
Right, where he
it ain't
should have
gonna
just
happen.
been like, man, I was
Like, he would be smart if he would get like the top 10 like Sambo guys against like some 10th Planet guys or something. Like, then it'd be like something random different. The next thing that everyone's trying to do is like Quintet, and everybody's trying to rip off Quintet. The problem is you're not going to get teams that have those a squadron of 5 guys that are legitimately on that team that can do this. It's just you're not going to get 5 names from Atos that everybody knows. You're not going to get 5 names from Fight Sports that everybody knows.
If you want attendance, you need to get the most attended schools around your area. So, like, if we were going to do something,
Which is what Fight to Win does.
right? You get people from all these schools, so you get all these people that are supporting their friends and teammates. The more
But here's the thing, like, and you're 100% right. The problem is you can't do it where it's 90% of these same 4 or 5 teams.
No,
You can't do it. I would do, okay, who's the best in your school? All right, I need the best in this school. Like, hopefully they're around the same weight, whatever. That's who we're matching up. I need the best from here, the best from there, the best from Tampa, the best from Orlando, whatever. Boom. Here's the fucking fight card. Best in Florida. Done. 6 matches. 8 matches, right? Maybe you'll do 1 or 2 of the kids at the beginning.
you got to do way more than that because
Right,
they go
but I'm
quick.
just saying,
Yeah.
right. But you get the bigger ones from the area where you can sit there and you start that, and then you throw a couple of like the up and comers, a couple of the blue belts and purple belts. Now you have a full fight
Or like
card.
you have an 8-man tournament at the top.
Right, the main card.
The main card is an 8-man tournament
and then
of a weight
6
class.
prelim card.
Like I tell you what, like a king of Florida,
A round robin King of Florida
the
thing.
king of Florida.
Right, and you do one in every state. Cool,
Yeah.
100%. But the key is that main card is the event. So the bottom ones can sit there and be the entry level into becoming into the main card next time we come into town. But you have that setup where you have a legitimate event. It doesn't burn your pocket. It gives reason for people to come back, because the way that I would do it, quite honestly, 100%. That setup, take it state to state. I get the same, like the winners of that. Okay, cool. Now I have a 50 bracket, right? 25 here,
King of
25
America.
here.
King of
now, right now we have a legitimate King of America. All right, now I can sit there have the main fights, right? That's a long term goal. But now I can sit there and say, you know what? These 10 and these 10.
Or you
East
don't
Coast
even
versus West Coast.
and not only that, you could segment the country up into 8. Like, you keep it 8, but you segment the country up into 8 different sections. You have Southeast, you have Northeast, you have Midwest, you have
It's like
Southwest.
an NEC, SEC.
You do that, and you separate the country up.
Which you can't, right? And people have tried it before, but again, they keep on trying to make these giant fucking cards that they can't afford to do, and that no one gives a shit. Let's be honest. Do you really care who the best in Missouri is?
No.
All right.
But the people in Missouri do.
People in Missouri do. But are the people in Missouri going to travel to Florida to see who's Missouri against Florida? No.
But they might do state versus state. See, that would be a good idea.
But that's what we're talking about.
A state versus state, and then an
Right.
area versus area. Like, you take the winners of each
But see,
state.
now when you get into events like that, then you're talking about, okay, well, I got to have a lot of money because it has to be a big show. That has to give people a reason.
And you don't
to come
have
in there.
time. And think about, that would be a full time. Like, you would have to do
That's a
shows
full-time gig.
every weekend
Basically.
in every state.
You
Or
literally would.
not in every state, but
you
like,
have to do one every weekend because it's 50 states, right? 51, 52 if you want to do Puerto Rico. So you have to have one every
What's
weekend.
51?
Wouldn't it be
51 with Puerto
50
Rico.
with Puerto Rico, right?
And you can count Guam.
right,
maybe.
Well, that'd be cool. So you
Shout out.
It's one a week. No one's gonna fucking do that. You
Yeah,
don't.
can't-
No one's
you
got
don't-
that
you can't,
capital for
you
it.
know.
Right?
And that would take so much planning.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but now you're talking about if we do a simple tournament, and I can sit there and say I want to do it locally for everybody outside of the state, pay-per-view, $5, do this. Patreon, you automatically get the password. Fucking done.
And if they share it with their friends,
I don't give a fuck.
Go.
I don't give a fuck.
Share.
Here's my album. Go ahead, copy it, do it. People don't fucking get it. You know what? One of the biggest things that we did that one of the artists that I work with that fucking nobody knew. I sat there and I had to make the sales pitch. What's the one thing that people fucking always get yelled at concerts for? Put the phone down. Don't film. No one wants to film. Why? Why the fuck? Listen, I get it. If there's someone behind you, shut that shit off. But if everybody's filming, film it. Film it. Tag me. I'll fucking share it. Share the shit out of it. Guess who all of a sudden within
blew up
3 years went from like 15,000 fans on Facebook to over 1 million? Because you shared the footage.
Yeah.
You share the footage. It's not like we're talking about fireworks. Man, fucking share the album. Share the album. I don't make money off of it anyway.
Yeah, nobody makes money off the album.
I make money off of merch. Well, that's not true. If you're an independent, then you make money off the album because
who's buying albums anymore?
A lot of people, actually.
I don't think so. Like, I think
vinyl albums have sold more than CDs.
Maybe actual vinyl albums.
But you're still selling
But
albums.
most people, what's the most?
Just digital.
Digital.
But you're still buying the album.
I don't know. Why do that when you can join Spotify for $14.95 a month and listen to every fucking album ever made?
Right. I don't disagree with you, but people still are buying albums. The problem is the artists aren't making money. That's a whole different argument that I can sit there.
Who said? I think it was. There was and I think it's the same thing for everything. I can't remember who it was. They were like, give away the music and get out there and tour. I think it was Foo Fighters. I think it was Dave Grohl. He's like, go ahead, take the music. Just come to my show.
Remember the band Seven Dust?
Yeah.
They toured for 7 years straight before they could start selling out. Like, now they're back to just touring hardcore. But Metallica made their whole life. Every band from the 80s made their whole fucking life because of bootleg tapes and CDs. Like, it's just the way that it is, man. Just bootleg tapes, really, not CDs.
Give it away and let people. The cooler it is, the more people that listen to it, the more people that know about it, they'll come to the shows.
Right, and that's the thing, and it's literally statistically proven that actually boosted the record industry, like Napster and all that stuff, which is why Spotify and everything else came out after the fact. The thing is that they still don't understand it. The money maker for all artists is always merchandise. The record industry, like the record label, usually made most of the money from the shows. But so the deal was, if you were the record label and I was the artist, you say, like, listen, I'm paying.
I thought they made it on album sales. The label.
The label did. The label
back
does.
in the day.
The album sales and ticket sales. So it would really be more of like, depending on what the deal is, it's like the album sales is more the record label, but at the end of the day, the record label still pays for the tour, right? So you sit there and say, I'm sending you guys on a tour, 150 shows, right? I still got to get my money back from the show. Everything else, ticket sales, comes from you. So if it costs me $50,000 to put on a show, you make $100,000 that night on the show on the ticket sales. Here's yours. Let me get my 20% manager fee like normal. Merchandise is all yours, right? Fucking A. So why do you think Kiss fucking blew up? Because they said, put my name on that, put my face on that, because that's 100% my money. Record labels finally realized, holy shit, we're losing a lot of money on it. So what they do, they created what's called 360 deals. So now they get a piece of everything. So that's why I say independent artists that were smart to own their own publishing.
Like Clutch. Clutch
owns everything on themselves.
Owns everything. They got their own label. They have It's like everything Clutch does.
Which is why they don't spend a lot of money on a lot of stuff. But they control their image. They control the tour. They control the albums and stuff like that. So if an album tanks, they feel it, and they're going to have to tour more and stuff. Other bands like, what the hell is it called? Lion Eyes. Like, same thing. They don't make a lot of money. But they're a great band. I love them. I know you've heard of them like one or two tracks, but you don't know them that big.
You know Joe was in a video.
Yeah.
One of Lion Eyes' videos.
Yeah. No, and they're an awesome band. They're great people.
They got a song about my favorite song that Lion Eyes does is a song about Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
So rad.
They're a good fucking band, man. They don't get enough credit. But either way, so the thing is with like all these promoters and stuff, like especially with jiu-jitsu, they are fucking up hardcore. And then I can sit there and tell you there's a couple of names and stuff that I know of, like gym owners who have a lot of money, who have stepped out of jiu-jitsu because they're losing money. Like, just because they just aren't doing their marketing right. Which is why I get so mad and I get so heated when I see these stupid ads of like, oh, find out how you can get 1,500 new attendants to your gym like every month. Like,
you know what's
man.
funny is we don't want people at Temple.
Yeah, no.
Isn't that weird? It's
No.
like if you find us, welcome. And
Yeah.
if you make it through the process, you don't just
Because you welcome a specific vibe.
right. And if you come to us and you don't match our vibe, you're not going to last. And
Yeah.
and we don't put up with it. We've asked people to leave because they
Yeah.
were
Douche.
just negative.
Yeah.
So
It's not about the money.
It's not about the money.
It's literally about the love for like fitness and martial arts.
right. So it's like we could market a lot more, but we don't because we don't want to have to give Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes by a membership.
Yeah.
It's like we have to accept you
Yeah.
to
No, you
become
gotta
a
be
member
part of the club.
You got to be part of the club. That's why it's Temple Martial Arts and Fitness Club.
Yeah. No, it's 100%. It's again, that's a specific marketing branding setup that isn't created. It's organic.
Yeah.
So, but like, with these people, it's like they don't fucking get it, man. They think, I love jiu-jitsu. How can I make money from jiu-jitsu? I know. I'll put an event. I'll have the best fucking tournament. Wrong, motherfucker. Shit doesn't work that way.
No.
I can tell you, I had to sit there and grind. I sat there and put artists in venues all over the globe. When I tell you international, I had to put like one artist in the same venue for 5 years before it was able to really pick up. And now I can sit there and put them in that same city, in the biggest venue in that city, and sell out. Because we had to sit there and you put in the work. You're not going to make an overnight sensation. Fight to Win busted their ass. So I have all respect for
dude.
Seth and everybody in Fight to Win. He puts on a great show, which is why he got picked up to do ADCC. ADCC has its own things that it has to grow and improve on. I think there's certain things that I would do different on Fight to Win. But all in all, they have the right setup for what they want to do. I would do something different because I don't want to put an event for the family. I want to put an event for the motherfuckers that are in it, that want to sit there and do it. I don't want to do an event where it's like, oh, it's about getting high and smoking weed. Yeah, that shit doesn't fucking fly.
No.
You're going to get fucking hood rats. Go take your hood rats and do that. That's not the shit that I would want to do. Like, I want to sit there and create a business. I can create a business that would sell. EBI, I could sit there and give you a dissertation on why Eddie Bravo fucked it up. Like, it is what it is. And the writing's on the wall. He had to take EBI to Mexico because it was cheaper, and then, like, it was where the investments and everything was. You have your own academies, and even they don't want to sit there and pay for the EBI. So how are you going to sit there and make that? So you're not really doing it to improve, like, the martial art. You're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for like your own team. So then why don't you just do your own academy fucking tournament and see who's the best in 10th Planet? Because at the end of the day, the only people that come out of 10th Planet that people know, Boogeyman, Freakazoid, Nate Orchard, right? And maybe a couple of people here and there, some smaller ones. But that's really it. Who else do you got?
I have no idea.
Exactly.
But I'm not a 10th Planet,
No, but they're in jiu-jitsu.
No, I understand. It's just, but I don't you know me. I don't know barely any of the names that I should know.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
because I don't pay attention to that. To me, it's like what I love jiu-jitsu. I like competing in jiu-jitsu, but it's not my life. So
Yeah.
I'm not that when we said we were going to start this podcast, I was like, okay, but I don't want to just talk about jiu-jitsu.
And we don't.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that because.
If you want that, go listen to anybody else.
Yeah, we're not jiu-jitsu nerds. Like, and I think there is a jiu-jitsu nerds podcast, but I didn't mean it like that. But we're not nerds about jiu-jitsu. This isn't all we think about. This isn't all we do.
It's something we're passionate about, but it's not what the only thing that makes us who we are as a person. Some people really don't have anything else. Like Mikey, he's got pasta and jiu-jitsu.
Pasta and jiu-jitsu.
That's literally
he needs a
it.
shirt that says that. Mikey, if you ever watch this episode or whatever.
But
Dude, after I'll tell you what's funny is after 10 years, or not 10 years, after 5 years since he's been gone, he commented on one of my pictures. I'm like,
Yeah.
finally, Mikey.
yeah, no. He's in his own world.
Well,
He
dude,
doesn't answer me anymore.
Mikey is a certified jiu-jitsu star.
For sure. Is he still with that chick? You know? I think he's still with that chick.
I didn't know he had a girlfriend. I don't know.
Oh, you really? Yeah, no, he got a girlfriend. He was all putting her on Instagram stuff. I'm like, shit.
Really?
Yeah.
On the he's big on the stories.
Yeah.
I've seen him. I've seen his stories, and you go in there, it looks like little dots each story. I'm like, dang, Mikey.
Yeah, he posts a lot, but he
Well,
also
what's funny
retweets
is-
people a lot. That's why.
What's funny is Tammy is is off of social media.
It's never been her thing. She's never liked the limelight.
She was, but she at one point she was like their mouthpiece. She
Yeah.
was the one doing their social media.
I think she just. It was before school really took hold of her, and then I think she probably got intimidated with the amount of attention that she was getting. Because remember that, with the whole arm break thing with Michelle Nicolini
Yeah,
match.
yeah.
I remember talking to her about it. She's like, I don't want to be the poster girl for women's jiu-jitsu. I don't want that. She's like, I shouldn't be anybody's role model. I was like, damn. That's
Actually,
pretty harsh.
the problem is yes, you should.
are. Yeah.
You are a great both her and
With great
Mikey.
power comes great
Yeah,
responsibility.
but the reason they're winning everything is because they've worked so hard.
Yeah.
And we've seen it this before they were even black belts. They were in there drilling hours a day.
Yeah.
On their own, just
It's
the two
why
of them.
she was able to not train for an entire year, practice for 4 weeks, and come back and win worlds. So it's already in there. Listen, people choose their own path for a reason, but either way, it's one of those things, man. It's been bugging me this whole thing with SubStars, and I really hope that they get their shit together. It seems to me like it's Tank, because he can't show his face anywhere in Miami. You just can't. You owe people money. Can't show up.
The thing I don't know if he got kicked out of Fight Sports.
I wouldn't see why not.
Because the post that Cyborg made was he was one of our guys. I don't know if he's not training anymore.
Dude, you can't show your face anymore. Are you kidding me? How many people in Fight Sports does he owe? Cyborg,
Maggie.
Tex, Maggie. I forget the other guy's name. The guy that competed against Nicky Rod,
Roosevelt.
Coco. Right, so Roosevelt, Coco. I mean, a bunch of people.
Did Wagner compete?
Wagner competed, so you're that's the last person you want to owe fucking money to. And I think Wagner is one of the nicest guys, but if you owe him money, he's gonna call you out. The fact that he didn't post anything shows how busy Wagner is. He doesn't get sucked into the social media bullshit. But I'm sure if I sat there and brought a mic to his face and said, "Hey Wagner, what do you think about this?" he'd probably go off. It's but that's not someone that I would want to owe money to, because for
I
sure
wouldn't want to owe money to anybody.
that too. But it's man, you can't show your face at all, and if you try to ever, it'd be no different than.
Well, no, he can come back from this if he could
if he
pay
paid everybody.
What he promised them.
See, I think guys like AJ, he paid. I think the sumo guys he paid. I think he paid them off the bat. But I think the majority of the other people he probably took advantage of. I think he knew. I'm sure that Blades didn't get paid. Blades probably didn't get paid. Curtis Blades. Man, it was. What's funny is man, I have some funny photos and videos of AJ backstage with the whole sumo thing. I was talking to him, I was hanging out and we were joking around and stuff. I'm you really had to go all out for this, huh? You had to wear that. He's man,
Dude, he's been training at Combat Club.
He's my dick is definitely gonna come out tonight. I'm fuck. It's hilarious. I was man, did you I said, I was like, I'll be honest with you. Is like, if you would have told me even 6 months ago that I was going to get to see you in a full sumo like setup, like I would have told you, like, you're fucking crazy. And he's like, yeah, me too.
I think what most people don't, the most amazing thing is he's basically lost 100 pounds.
Bro, he looks jacked. And I was talking to him about that. I was like, so you're not lifting with flex anymore? He's like, bro, I can't sustain that. He's like, I was thick. He's like, I could not sustain that kind of size. He's like, I don't know how they do that. He's like, I just couldn't sustain it. But he looked fucking like a sexy beast, man. He was jacked. He was lean. And I was like, I think
he said he's walking around about 235.
I for sure. Like, but that's the leanest 235 I've ever seen him. He looked like he could have gone down to 185 all over again. But I give it a year. He's going to come back into the UFC.
I thought he was already trying.
There was talks about it, and he was kind of like dodging on it. But I think within the year, he's going to be back in the UFC for sure. I think right now he's just working on his grappling and getting his name back out there. And I give him all the credit in the world, man. I've always been a big fan of AJ as a fighter. But as a person, I think he's an awesome dude. So I'm really curious to see what he decides to do. And, like, I would love to see him fight because he looked good grappling-wise. And for sure, he still has hands. So
Yeah. That's funny. I was talking with Jay-Z one day. He's like, the reason he got out of fighting...
It's because he hated grappling.
He hated grappling, and now here he is doing grappling tournaments everywhere.
That's what I think is awesome. I was like, it's kind of like he took it head on, and that's what he was talking about, like the sumo thing. He's like, it made him uncomfortable, but he's like, I'm gonna go into it like head on. So I think it might be one of those things where he might have had like a little come to Jesus moment to a certain extent. Because I mean, like, come on, do you really think he would have done the whole butt cheek dance like 5 years ago?
No, he seems to be
more comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah, for sure.
That is good. But either way, man. So the big thing this week is Gilbert.
Yep.
Gilbert fighting Damian Maia.
Yeah, that's huge.
The rest of the card is actually pretty good, man.
I haven't even looked at the rest of the
Amanda Ribas is in there. Honey
What's the
Yaya.
main event?
Kevin Lee against I forget who.
Oh, yeah. Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, Charles Oliveira. Which that should be a pretty high energy fight. But Gilbert against Damian Maia, man, I'm so looking forward to it.
That's got to be co-main event, right?
Co-main event.
Yeah, I'm stoked for that. I'm super stoked for that.
I wish I could be in Brazil.
Like, all I can think of, though, is will it be a jiu-jitsu match or will it be a kickboxing match?
I think it would be a stand-up grappling match. I think it'll be striking until Damian Maia feels Gilbert's hook. Once he feels that hook, then it's going to be a match against the wall, and then it's going to be a stand-up grappling match, like, of inches. Like, it'll be of inches.
Well, it's
first person that gets down on the floor is probably the one that's
old school versus new school.
Not even. I wouldn't even say that. I would see it as a passing of the torch to Gilbert.
But it is. It's like Damian Maia, when did he win the world championship? Like 2004?
Yeah.
And when did Gilbert win? 2011, 2012, something like that? Maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't remember when he won it. Right. So it's like it's another gen. It's really not old school versus new school. It's just previous generation versus newer generation.
I think if Damian Maia would have started MMA earlier, it probably would have gotten to where Gilbert is now. And Gilbert has still a long way to progress. He's got so much more potential with his striking and everything. But I think that Damian Maia truthfully wishes he had what Gilbert has now.
Well, and Damian Maia will never have what Gilbert has, which is one punch knockout.
Right.
Power.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I think.
Well, that's not even something you can really develop. Like, I'm sure you can develop it.
You could get the technique to
hit
the button.
Talk about technique. Did you watch the Shawn O'Malley match?
No, I didn't get to watch this whole
Holy cow, dude.
Yeah. I heard he pieced them up.
He looked incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch any of the fights. All I saw was...
And the Joanna fight, I think she got robbed.
Yeah,
I'm saying it. Joanna, I think you got robbed. It was a great fight. Not that Zhang did terrible or
Yeah.
did not win. To me, watching that fight,
Well, isn't it
Joanna,
by the numbers? By the numbers, technically, Joanna won.
oh, she outstruck her by at least 40. I think
Yeah.
it was 40 strikes.
I'd have to.
But it was all up and down. Like Zhang outstruck her to the head.
Right.
But Joanna like pieced up her body and legs way more.
Yeah, I have to watch it.
It's a great fight. It really is. It's like, and here's the thing: if Joanna didn't get that huge hematoma, I
She
think
probably would have won.
she would have won. I think because I think the judges saw that and was
damage.
like, "That's too much damage."
That was a lot.
She looked like the Elephant Man. She really did.
Yeah, that was really.
She looked
bad.
like John Merrick.
Yeah,
I am not an animal.
that was really, really bad.
Shout out to William Hurt.
Man, so you worried about this coronavirus?
I just want to get. I want everybody to get it so it's gone.
No, man, you don't want anybody to get it. Italy is in lockdown.
Yeah, I know. Well, as we've been doing this, Trump just locked down travel from Europe.
Oh, really? Completely? Is that what popped up?
Yep.
Good. You should have done that like 3 weeks ago.
No, he's doing everything at the right time because you
You don't want to cause a panic early.
can't cause a panic, and you had like he shut down travel from China. People don't remember this.
Yeah.
But he shut it down back in December.
Yeah.
Which, that was a long time to act on that. He was like, okay, we can't have this going on.
No, but I don't think he closed it down from.
No, it limited it from China.
From Wuhan, there were specific cities that they shut down travel from. The problem is that they shut down travel from those direct cities. But if someone went from like Wuhan to Seoul to California, like they were still allowed in, which is why I think we have the cases that we have. Like this morning, I think, or last night, they announced that we have an official case down in Broward. There was one in Miami.
Well, somebody died in Florida.
Yeah.
Yes, today.
But it's so stupid, man. That's what fucking pisses me off. It's like, granted, you don't know for the 14 days or whatever the incubation period is, but you still fucking traveled. It's the people that traveled and came back and just like, like that's what pisses me off. And now there's people that think it's funny to like cough in other people's faces, or whenever they're having like arguments on the street, they're doing the whole coughing in your face thing.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. No, listen, I'll let you know right now. Like, actually, there's a bunch of videos about people doing that in China. The stuff that I've seen coming out of China, man, is so gross.
They're shooting people.
No, but like I've watched people, like someone's like walking past, they like spit in their hand and they throw it on people's back as they walk past them. I've seen guys go and like lick their hand and lick the buttons on the elevator and like spreading it and stuff. Like really, really out of hand stuff.
Here's how much I'm freaked out about it is.
This is coming from the person who doesn't believe in washing his hands.
Oh, I've been washing the shit out of my hands.
Sure.
Number one. Number two, I only believed in washing my hands before I ate. But never like I didn't believe in washing my hands after going to the bathroom because my dick's clean.
That's disgusting.
But what I'm freaked out about is like I don't want to go visit my grandmother.
You can't.
Like because I was in Orlando last week.
Yeah.
I went to had the work retreat and we ended up going to the whole company went to Universal.
Yeah.
Who knows who was there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
And
like
the ride, sitting in the ride before you and stuff.
Yeah, so
Were
it's
the
like
lines long or short?
they were short. It was dead.
Dude, I want to go just because the
It
lines
was
are so
dead.
short.
I was like,
I want to go this weekend just because.
well,
the lines
no.
are
Well,
so
think about
short.
this. Ohio's thinking about locking down anything more than 250 people.
Yeah.
There's a UFC coming up
Yeah.
from Ohio.
Well, that's what California just did with IBJJF.
yeah.
I mean, tons of people, but.
Well, that's a competitor thing, but I wonder if they can have if they're still going to have the fights or they're going to cancel the card.
I mean, they've done. I know the NBA has postponed games for 2 weeks.
Well, did you hear about what they're doing for?
Soccer?
No, for college basketball.
They're doing it with no spectators.
No spectators.
Yeah, that's happened tons of times in football in soccer. They did it in I want to say like early 2000s because of issues that they were having with fans. They did an entire season, like a good 2/3 of a season for like the Premier League with no fans. Like absolutely zero fans were allowed in the stadiums.
Here's what I want to know:
So
if you
it's
get
nothing
it
new. Yeah.
and you beat it, can you get it again?
I would probably say that you could get a new strain of it.
But I don't think that, I think there's only one strain of this.
Well, no, that's the problem. So, from what I've read and from what I've heard, this is the novel, the new strain of the coronavirus that went from an animal to a human, which is what's freaking everybody out.
I don't think that's true, though.
It is.
No, I don't think it did go from an animal to a
It
human.
did. That's literally like they know that's what it came
No,
from.
they don't, because that came from China, and I just read the other day that now they're thinking it didn't come from the animal. Actually, I read it this morning that it didn't come from an animal, that it came from because the reason why they're saying it did not come from an animal, because animals aren't getting it now.
But there's the different strains were already in the animals, so that's what I'm saying. Like they already know. I forget. First they thought it was bats, but now they have it narrowed it down to something else that it originally came from. It was already in that animal, which is why it transferred over to humans. That's the issue that they're having right now. So every time that a virus gets a new strain like that, it becomes weaker in certain parts and stronger in others. So I think it would be no different than the cold. You get the cold every year. Cold is the cold, but it's a new strain of that cold, or the flu. So you might be immune to the old strain, but you're not going to be immune to the new one.
I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert. Just only what I read, and that's the other thing that's driving me crazy is all of a sudden
fake information.
No, all of a sudden everybody's a virus expert.
All I know is that people are toilet paper experts, evidently. And evidently, the cure for coronavirus is toilet paper. I went to Costco the other day. The entire back section of bottled water, paper towels, and toilet paper, empty. It was never. I've never even seen it empty when I went there during hurricanes. It was empty. But for sure, you can't go see your grandma. You definitely can't. She technically shouldn't even be leaving the house.
Well, I called her. I was talking to her today. I was like, Nana, you need to be I've been ever since we went up to North Carolina, I've been making her take those airborne chews.
Yeah.
I said, are you taking your chews? And she's like, oh, no, I haven't. But I go, you need to get on that.
Yeah, but
she's going to be 90 in a couple weeks.
So crazy. But I'm saying, listen, my grandma's in the midst of the worst part of Europe.
Yeah, she's in Italy.
She's literally in Italy, in the epicenter of everything that's going on. My cousin works at a hospital, and they shut it down. They have doctors are literally just making the decision of who's to die, because there's not enough doctors to help. And they're even letting nurses with coughs and stuff like that still work with patients now.
Yeah, they have to.
They don't have enough people. That's why I get mad with everybody saying oh, free healthcare and socialist healthcare and all this stuff. Listen, man. The healthcare system in Italy is the worst. And not only that, there's more senior citizens and people over 50, 60 in Italy than there are younger people. That's just the way that it is. So there's tons of people that are at risk to spreading it. Streets are fucking empty. They're not even allowed to go anywhere. They're postponed weddings. They've postponed funerals. They just have dead bodies sitting there. It's it is as close to a zombie apocalypse that you can fucking get.
Yeah.
It really, really is. So my grandma right now is freaking out. It's bad enough she's a hypochondriac. So she's freaking out. She's not even leaving the house, and she's been washing her hands to the point where it's raw, where their hands are bleeding. So we call her up every couple of hours just to try and calm her down and stuff. But man, it's getting out of hand, which is why I said at the beginning, I'm surprised that no one's made the discussion in jiu-jitsu. That's why I get mad at people. Don't fucking come into class sick, man.
Yeah, no.
I've been out for 6 weeks with a sinus infection. You can't catch a sinus infection, but I'm still not going to risk, number one, my immune system, or two, maybe having something that somebody else can catch. People don't fucking get it. And here's the thing. Fuck my immune system. There's people that literally have immune deficiency disorders, alpha 1. There's tons of other ones, right? They have to take shots of plasma medicines into their stomach on a nightly basis. So every time people fuck around and cough, sneeze without covering their mouth, you're literally putting someone's life in danger. Like, in danger. It's pretty crazy, man. So it's like, you got to think past yourself, especially. So if you're sick, if you have a cold, a flu, whatever, don't go to class, man. Don't go train. Just don't.
Yeah,
Just
there's
don't.
no, you can.
You're not going to sweat it out, and you're not going to sit there. Oh, like, I hate, like, when you and I fuck around, I'm like, you don't have allergies. Like, don't fucking say, oh, I have allergies.
I do have allergies.
Right.
I know
I'm
that
not
for
saying you
100%.
don't. Right. But don't fucking go up to class, oh, I have allergies. Even if you do, it doesn't make anybody else comfortable. Like,
well, dude, I'll tell you what. Monday night I was in yoga.
Yeah.
And I heard a guy cough.
And you automatically, like...
But it wasn't like...
It was a wet cough?
It was a wet cough with, like, phlegm and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, as you wash your hands.
Yeah.
But, like...
I have tons of hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Like, this is fresh. I got to keep this. This is gold right here. You can't find this anywhere now.
But he coughed, and it was like a super... like phlegmy cold, like he has something.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself,
Why are you here?
why are you here?
Yeah. I got to sweat it out, bro. It's just allergies.
Then sweat it out in your friggin' shower.
Yeah.
Take a hot bath.
But I told you, like, when we had the podcast right after Miami, like, I was getting, like, I was this close. I was literally this close to, like, being worried. Like, I legitimately might have it because my parents went to China in December.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, that's like a month, so you're not going to carry it for a month.
No, you got it. They say most people show symptoms in 5 days.
Yeah, 14 days is the incubation period.
Right, but normally, like, is not the, like, is the biggest window is 14 days.
Yeah.
But most people start showing symptoms within 5 days.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I was legitimately panicked, and then not even because, like, okay, like, I've had this for a while, but, like, I woke up one morning out of nowhere and I had a cough and I started coughing up, but it wasn't chunks. They were like pellets. I'm like, oh shit, whatever this isn't good. So that's why. But, like I said, we're not doing the podcast. Like, I didn't go train. I didn't do anything except, like, work. I locked myself up in my hotel room when I sat there and had to do my conference for work and stuff. Like, but man, like, don't fucking go out there, man. Just don't. It literally costs you nothing. It costs you nothing to sit there and just worry about other people, because there's other people that have very, very bad immune system. Older people, just kids that have, even though this isn't contracting to kids as much.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But it makes sense. They have healthier lungs. But again, kids are still getting it, but
they're shaking it off pretty quick.
Yeah, but we also don't have the tests to find out who's got what.
And dude, we don't know what this could lead to.
Well, the problem is, even if you look at history and you look at, like, the flu epidemics and stuff, everybody keeps on saying, oh, once it warms up, it goes away. That's not the case. It comes back twofold. So when there was, like, a big flu epidemic, That's
the flu. This is
no, but again, it's still an epidemic.
But here's why I believe it slows down in warmer weather. South America has got barely any cases. They're in their summer right now.
Yeah, but they're also, as bad as this sound, I think it's areas that have more Asian population got hit first because it was coming from China.
Rio's got a ton.
Yeah. But I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Because, but I think it's not so much as the warm weather, but as much as when it's cold, you automatically get sniffly and you sneeze and you rub your hand, like your nose, and like you do this and stuff like that. You're like, so it's gonna happen in colder regions. You know, we don't have it here as much.
No, I don't know, but like, I looked at the map the other day. And I was like, huh.
Yeah, but that's not true though, because I think because then you got.
You can look at what's cool is you can look at the real time map.
MERS is the scary one too. MERS, Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome. That's the other one, and that one came from camels. But it's around.
Iran's being decimated.
Yeah. That's like, again, I'm telling you, that's
decimated.
the scary part. Yeah, that's the scary part. Did you see was it like the Iranian prime minister or whatever it was? He was like on the news, saying like, "Oh, there's nothing to worry about. We don't have it," while he's sweating
Sweating
bullets.
yeah.
And then like 2 hours later, he's in the hospital. People like don't fucking get it, man. They don't fucking get it. Look at all the like the politicians now that are self-quarantining. That's bullshit.
Well,
That's
it's smart.
It's not self-quarantining.
Tracy's boss went to the APAC,
Really?
and there was supposedly somebody there to have it. They came back, went to work. Like, but that's the whole thing is you don't know
You don't know.
who you're going to be
But
around.
that's what I'm saying. It's like there's that one asshole who knows he's sick, and he still shows
Yeah, they
up.
get off on that. So there's some people that get off
Oh
on
yeah,
that
yeah.
too.
Some people are like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's the people. If you look it up, there's people that are doing like, if they get into like an argument on the street, they're, I'll let you know right now. I don't care if you're 80. I don't care if you're 10. If you coming at me and you start doing that whole coughing in my face thing, I will punch you in the face so hard, they will take me to jail.
Well, and here's the thing, that could be considered assault with a deadly weapon.
There have been people arrested in the past. Like if someone spit on someone, that they considered it like chemical warfare or something like that. It's been in courts before, so you're not wrong. All right, I think we should probably call it a quits. It's a little late.
Yeah.
I got to shower. But we had a good podcast today. Listen, guys, stay safe. Shower. Use Jiu-Jitsu soap. It's not even about selling the stuff or promoting them. Like, this stuff is legitimately good. People are running out at the grocery store. You might as well just put your order in. You'll get it at a discount. You're not like, I mean, it doesn't hurt anybody. If you're sick, don't train. If you don't feeling good, if you'll run down, just play it safe, man. Don't train. Last thing we want to hear is that anybody that is in the hospital for this stuff, we can cut this out pretty quick if everybody is smart. Like, this is something that we can all chip in together and work on and squash it pretty quick. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Follow Shawn at GorillaBoyBJJ. Follow me at Sonder Marketing. You can follow the podcast at Jiu-Jitsu Radio. Don't forget to check out jiu-jitsuradio.com. Big shout out to our sponsors, Choke Aloha, Giraffe Choke, and Jiu-Jitsu Soap Co. Check them out. Use the promo codes. Get the discount. Happy 100.
Happy 100. We did it.
Peace.
Hey.
You can't
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff.
Get stealing, woo, wheeling, dealing, limousine right, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time